Welcome to the debate. When we think about the beautiful game, we usually we picture this raw, unscripted human intuition. Like, just imagine the sensory experience of a high-stakes match.
Oh, absolutely. The roar of the crowd, the cut grass.
Exactly. The smell of the grass, a midfielder spotting a run out of the corner of their eye, and then threading this perfect, impossible pass through a dense defensive line. It feels like poetry, right? It feels, entirely human.
Right.
But if you step into the control room of a modern football tournament today, suddenly that unscripted poetry is being sliced into 500 distinct data points every single second. We are looking at a landscape where human intuition is being systematically reverse engineered by server farms.
Yeah, it is the absolute definition of a tactical paradigm shift. And honestly, it is fundamentally altering the DNA of the sport. We are moving from a game of instinct to a game of empirical geometry.
We really are. So today, we are examining the rapid integration of artificial intelligence and advanced data analytics in global football. We're specifically looking ahead to the massive technological infrastructure being deployed for the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Which is just staggering in its scale.
Staggering. And it brings us to our central question, really focusing on the democratization of sports data. Does the widespread availability of AI platforms truly democratize the sport for smaller teams? Or, does it inadvertently create new, wider inequalities between elite organizations and under-resourced ones?
Right, and this entire conversation is grounded in the recent rollout of FIFA and Lenovo's new Football AI Pro tournament systems, as well as highly specialized club-level developments, like Google DeepMind's collaboration with Liverpool.
Exactly. So I will argue that scalable, generative AI platforms provide unprecedented access to elite-level analytics, effectively leveling the playing field for smaller or debuting teams by giving them the exact same tactical roadmap as the giants of the sport.
And I will counter that mere access to data does not equal the capability to execute it. Elite teams with pre-existing resources, massive financial backing, and dedicated analyst structures, they will use these exact same tools to exponentially compound their advantages, widening the gap between the rich and the rest.
All right, let us look closely at how this technology is systematically breaking down historical financial barriers in football. For decades, the sport has been dominated by a handful of wealthy nations and top-tier clubs. Why?
Money.
Money, exactly. Because identifying talent and analyzing opponents required massive, expensive scouting networks. If a debuting nation wanted to know exactly how a powerhouse opponent defended corner kicks, they couldn't just guess.
Right.
They had to pay for scouts to fly around the globe, live in hotels, watch matches for months just to compile manual reports. It was a purely financial bottleneck.
Sure. A bottleneck that created the traditional hierarchy of the sport, yes.
Right, but the rollout of Football AI Pro completely upends that resource dependency. We are talking about a generative AI knowledge assistant that ingests and analyzes hundreds of millions of football-specific data points.
Hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
And the crucial element here is the distribution model. This system is being provided to all 48 teams in the 2026 World Cup. So a debuting nation, one completely lacking a multi-million-dollar analytics department, suddenly has a system that generates validated tactical insights through text, video, graphs, and three-dimensional visualizations.
In multiple languages, too.
Exactly, processed instantly in their native language. FIFA President Gianni Infantino explicitly framed this as democratizing data. By giving everyone the exact same analytical capabilities, you remove the financial barrier to strategic preparation. A smaller team can now walk into a match knowing exactly where an opponent's defensive vulnerabilities are, not based on expensive scouting guesswork, but on the same elite-level analytics used by the powerhouses themselves. Well, look, the phrase democratization of access is a highly appealing but ultimately dangerous illusion.
Dangerous?
Yes, dangerous. Because the democratization of sports data.
Universes are born and die at the snap of his fingers of shadow. The multiverse is nothing but dust, molded by his sovereign will. Beneath his titanic silhouette, subverses collapse, and entire realities bow to the true and absolute ruler of the cosmos. For the creature that holds the infinite in the palm of its hand, eternity itself is merely a fleeting breath. Colossal dimensions are mere toys in the immensity of his domain. He does not merely observe existence, he possesses it completely. Available now on Amazon Books.
Democratization of sports data is not just about handing a manager a tablet loaded with 3D graphs. It is about the institutional machinery required to act on those graphs.
Okay, but
Just look at the reality at the club level right now. Wealthy Premier League clubs, particularly those with owners deeply familiar with advanced analytics in American sports, teams like Arsenal and Manchester City, they already possess a profound background in data integration.
sure, they have a head start.
It's more than a head start. Federations with stronger analyst benches, clearer decision-making routines, and years of experience integrating data into their coaching workflows, they're going to extract vastly more value from these standardized systems. How technology creates new inequalities between elite teams and smaller ones is right there in the application.
But the entire point of generative AI is that you no longer need an army of data scientists to interpret the data. The interface does the heavy lifting.
That is the theory, sure, but let's look at the practice. If a top-tier federation receives an AI-generated 3D visualization of a tactical vulnerability, say a weakness in how the opponent defends the left flank during a counterattack,
Right.
they have the specialized coaching staff to immediately translate that digital insight into specialized physical training drills on the pitch. They have the sports scientists to ensure the players have the specific fast-twitch muscle recovery needed to exploit that flank repeatedly.
I see what you're saying, but
A smaller federation might see the exact same visualization on their tablet, but they lack the specialized personnel to execute the tactical adjustment physically. You are distributing the technology, yes, but you are not distributing the resources required to implement it. Therefore, the gap between the elite and the rest does not close. It widens.
I hear that, I do, but historical precedent regarding technological leaps tells a slightly different story. The reason generative AI is such a revolutionary step forward is precisely because it attacks the very institutional barrier you are talking about.
How so?
Well, in the past, you needed a database architect to query the server, right? A statistician to run the models, and a tactical analyst to translate the math into a language the manager could actually understand. That took days.
It did.
But tools like Football AI Pro are built on large language models, the same predictive text technology behind something like ChatGPT. This means a coach doesn't need to know how to code to get an answer.
But they still need to know what questions to ask.
Sure, but imagine you are the manager of a highly under-resourced team. You can sit in the locker room at halftime, pull up the tablet, and directly ask the system in plain conversational language, show me the passing channels our opponent uses when they are pressed high in the final third.
Okay.
The AI understands the context, queries millions of data points instantly, and provides the exact video clips and tactical diagrams before the players even take their boots off. It bridges the tactical gap by acting as that missing backroom staff. It gives the under-resourced manager the same real-time clarity as the manager with 20 analysts feeding them information through an earpiece.
I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that. Let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
Let us look at how Liverpool transformed their organization using data. They went from a very average 18-12-8 record in the 2014-2015 season to an astonishing 31-7 record just a few seasons later, winning the Premier League.
A massive turnaround.
Exactly. And that transformation was not achieved simply because they had a tool that fed them instant video clips. Every single team in the Premier League had access to basic video and statistical data.
Right, that's true.
Liverpool succeeded because they built an entire institutional culture around empirical analysis. Giving a smaller team easily readable generative data does not magically grant them the structural culture to use it. It doesn't build the established trust between the analysts and the players, and it certainly doesn't provide the elite physical conditioning programs required to execute high-level tactical shifts over a grueling 90-minute match. Access to the answer doesn't mean you have the capacity to execute the solution on the grass.
I see why you think that, but let me give you a different perspective. Is it not like giving a grandmaster and a novice the same advanced chess engine?
Okay, I'm listening.
Yes. The grandmaster may understand it deeper, but the novice's baseline jumps exponentially. Before the engine, the novice was making fundamental errors. Now, the novice uses the AI to avoid those basic blunders. In football terms, the smaller team no longer has to guess about an opponent's fitness or passing trends. They can use the AI to set up a mathematically sound defensive shape that neutralizes the opponent's primary attack. That alone bridges a massive gap that used to result in a guaranteed heavy defeat.
But you're assuming that raising the floor levels the playing field? It doesn't.
Why not?
Think about your chess analogy. What happens when the Grandmaster uses that exact same chess engine? The Grandmaster doesn't just look at the engine to figure out basic defensive spacing. They use the AI to calculate incredibly complex 15-move combinations that the novice cannot even comprehend, let alone counter.
Well, they're playing different games at that point.
Exactly. In football, while the novice team uses the AI to figure out basic defensive shapes, the elite team is using the exact same AI to engineer highly complex, rapid pressing traps that exploit micro weaknesses in the novice's transition game. The baseline jumps for both? Absolutely. But the absolute distance between them actually increases because the elite team's structural capacity to absorb and apply complex information is exponentially higher.
Okay, I am not entirely convinced that the distance increases infinitely, because there is, a physical ceiling to how much tactical advantage you can extract in a 90-minute contest played by human beings. But this naturally brings us to the types of technology being deployed, because the distinction between bespoke, club-level technology and the shared tournament technology we will see in 2026 is crucial here.
Oh, it is incredibly crucial. Because even if that baseline jumps, you're assuming everyone is relying solely on the same standardized engine. But they aren't. Elite clubs and wealthy national federations aren't waiting for FIFA to hand them a tablet. They are building bespoke, predictive AI that will always outpace a generalized system.
You are referring to Google DeepMind's project.
Precisely. Let's look at the mechanics of Tactic-AI, developed specifically with Liverpool. This isn't just a descriptive tool showing a heat map of past trends. It is a predictive engine built on geometric deep learning.
Fascinating stuff.
It really is. It treats the football pitch like a fluid, geometric puzzle, mapping players as nodes and passes as edges. It trains on thousands of Premier League corner kicks to understand exactly how a specific set piece will unfold. We are talking about mapping player velocity, the angle of the delivery, the exact positioning of every defender in the penalty box.
And it runs simulations based on that geometry.
Thousands of them. It predicts exactly who will receive the ball, whether there will be a direct shot on goal, and how minute adjustments, like say, moving a defender half meter to the left, will mathematically change the probability of a goal. A standardized tool handed out by FIFA, no matter how advanced, is generalized. It has to work for 48 different tactical styles. The elite teams with the capital to build bespoke intelligence tailored to their own players' exact biomechanics will always remain a step ahead of the teams relying on the shared public infrastructure.
I understand the power of bespoke predictive models. I really do. But I think you are underestimating the sheer scale and centralization of the 2026 World Cup infrastructure.
Am I?
Yes, because the tournament is centralizing the absolute highest tier of technology into a shared digital layer that no single club, not even Liverpool or Manchester City, could realistically replicate on their own. Consider the International Broadcast Center in Dallas. It is taking in live video from stadiums across 3 massive countries, processing it and distributing it in near real time.
Okay, but processing video is just broadcasting at a larger scale. How does a massive broadcast center translate to a tactical equalizer on the pitch?
Because of what is happening inside that data feed. All teams benefit from the exact same live data collection mechanisms on the pitch. Let's explain the mechanics of the official Tree Honda connected match ball. This isn't just a ball.
Right, it's got the sensor.
Exactly. It houses a built-in motion sensor suspended in its center, recording its movement 500 times a second. That microdata allows the system to detect the exact millisecond the ball is kicked. Now combine that with the stadium's optical tracking cameras, which capture every single player's exact position.
Yeah, the optical tracking is incredibly precise now.
It is. Furthermore, every single player at the World Cup is digitally scanned before the tournament to create a precise AI-enabled 3D avatar. This captures highly accurate body part measurements, the length of a striker's leg,
the width of a defender's shoulder.
It is essentially creating a live digital twin of the entire match.
Exactly. And the computing power required to align the ball sensor data, updating 500 times a second, with 22 moving 3D player avatars in real time is astronomical. No single federation has that set up.
That's fair.
By providing this shared infrastructure, FIFA is ensuring that the foundational intelligence of the game, the exact physical reality of what is happening on the pitch, is identical and perfectly accurate for all 48 teams. You don't need a bespoke predictive system when the standard tournament system is tracking reality at a microscopic level.
Well, I will concede that the technological stack at the 2026 World Cup is monumental. Aligning 500 data points a second from a ball sensor with 3D player skeletal models is an engineering marvel.
It really is.
However, the fact that the data is generated centrally does not mean it is leveraged equally. Let's shift our focus to the human element of this, particularly how these national teams are constructed. You have players coming together from all over the world, playing in completely different club systems, often speaking different languages.
Which is exactly where AI can solve unique human problems for smaller or more diverse national teams. Think about team chemistry and tactical alignment.
Sure.
A national team manager only has a few weeks to get players who rarely play together to operate as a cohesive unit. We've seen reports highlighting how AI translation tools can provide real-time feedback and guidance during training camps. Clear communication between players of different cultural backgrounds is essential to executing a tactical plan.
Absolutely.
By removing the language barrier in tactical briefings or real-time sideline adjustments, AI directly addresses one of the most persistent structural disadvantages that highly diverse national teams face. You can finally have a unified tactical vision without needing an army of translators in the locker room.
Translation tools are helpful for locker room chemistry, certainly. But let us look at the broader governance and the human element of who actually controls the sports administration. Arsene Wenger made a very profound prediction.
What did he say?
He said, in 10 to 15 years, it will not necessarily be a football specialist who will be a manager for a club. It will be management specialists rather than football specialists, because the football decisions will be made by technology.
And you see a shift toward management specialists as inherently negative? A management specialist might be exactly what is needed to coordinate these complex technological systems and ensure a purely meritocratic approach.
I see it as a massive shift in where structural power resides. If we are moving toward a reality where AI drives semi-automated offsides, where referee body cameras are stabilized by AI for global broadcast, and where algorithms dictate substitution patterns based on predictive fatigue models, we have to question accountability and resource allocation.
Right.
Semi-automated offsides, for instance, rely on those 3D avatars you mentioned to determine if a player's shoulder is a millimeter beyond the last defender. When decisions are made by algorithms, the teams best positioned to adapt to those algorithmic rules are not the scrappy underdogs.
How so? The algorithm applies to everyone equally.
Picture a 90th minute World Cup semifinal. A crucial goal is disallowed by an algorithm calculating a fraction of a millimeter on a striker's avatar. A wealthy, elite federation has the backroom data scientists to instantly review the avatar geometry, understand the specific tracking parameters, and adapt their offensive lines dynamically to exploit the margin of error in the optical tracking.
Wow, okay.
Meanwhile, a smaller federation just has to accept the stadium screen's verdict because they don't have a team of physicists on staff. We are replacing a hierarchy of historical footballing pedigree with a hierarchy of algorithmic bureaucracy. The teams with the highest administrative funding will always win in a bureaucratic system.
But the transparency of the system is specifically designed to prevent that kind of structural advantage. The reason FIFA and Lenovo are expanding things like referee view and broadcasting the 3D avatars during replays is precisely to make the reasoning undeniable to everyone.
Undeniable, sure.
In the past, a wealthy federation could use their media influence to argue a technicality based on a subjective, blurry camera angle. Now, the video assistant referee sees synchronized, absolute data from the ball and the players. It reduces guesswork and completely removes subjective human error from the refereeing process.
But is it truly objective?
It gives fans, officials, and players the exact geometry behind each call immediately. You cannot manipulate a sensor inside a ball that updates 500 times a second. It is objective reality enforced equally
regardless of a federation's wealth or administrative power.
Objective reality is defined by the parameters of the programmers, and those parameters are heavily influenced by the teams who can afford to integrate them into their daily workflows year-round.
I think that's a bit cynical.
It's realistic. The democratization of sports data is a noble concept, but when you drop a highly advanced technological layer onto a foundation of massive structural and economic inequality, the technology merely allows the rich to optimize their dominance more efficiently. They already know how to ask the AI the right questions.
Yeah, but
They have the sports scientists to take the AI's physical output and tweak a player's diet or recovery protocol down to the calorie. The smaller teams are just getting a high-definition AI-generated view of their own disadvantage.
look, you cannot deny that the floor has been universally raised. Providing world-class centralized generative AI to all competitors is the most significant step toward democratizing football strategy in the sport's history.
I'm not denying the floor is higher.
It ensures that no team is defeated simply because they couldn't afford a plane ticket for a scout to watch their opponent play. It gives every manager the exact same tactical roadmap. It forces matches to be decided on the pitch, by the player's execution, rather than by who has the biggest budget in the accounting department.
I agree that the floor has been raised. The baseline of tactical competence at the 2026 World Cup will absolutely be higher than any tournament in history. But the ceiling has also been raised exponentially, and the elite teams are the only ones with the institutional ladders required to reach it.
Well, it seems we are arriving at a clear point of convergence regarding the sheer magnitude of this shift. We can both agree that the 2026 World Cup will serve as a massive, unprecedented testing ground for AI as a foundational operating infrastructure.
Oh, absolutely.
It is fundamentally shifting how tactics are developed in the locker room, how officials make millimeter-tight calls on the pitch, and how the game is visualized in real time.
Yes, it is no longer just a novelty happening at the edges of the tournament. It is the central nervous system of the event. And as this model shapes future tournaments, the sports world is going to have to grapple with how to balance operational efficiency and tactical insight against structural inequality.
It's a huge challenge.
It is. And there is a whole other side to this regarding how this AI infrastructure drives personalized fan engagement, e-commerce, and virtual perimeter marketing. That is a massive area that heavily favors organizations with large pre-existing global footprints and massive marketing budgets, which we will certainly have to save for another day.
Oh, definitely. There is absolutely much more to explore regarding how technology reshapes the fan experience and the business of the sport. But as we look at the pitch itself, we are left to consider the ultimate evolution of the game.
Yeah.
We started by talking about the unscripted poetry of a perfect pass versus the reverse-engineered data of modern analytics. As these systems go live globally, it is up to you, the observer, to decide whether this technology acts as the great equalizer, finally democratizing the beautiful game.
Or if it serves as the ultimate separator, quantifying human intuition only for those who already have the resources to decode it.
Exactly. Thank you for joining us on The Debate.